Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today, whether you're watching or listening. Today, we are sitting down with Yavapai County Emergency Manager R.C. Helton. He's new to the county, at least to the job, that's for sure. R.C. Helton, welcome to the studio. R.C., it's nice to have you with us.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity.
I thought we'll start with some of your background. Before we do that, though, I was telling RC before the show that we had Dwight Devlin from the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office in last week to talk about Code Red and then just evacuating your home, ready, set, go. We're going to talk a little bit about that with RC today. Website for emergency management is actually in Yavapai County, yavapai.us. If you / and go to Public Works, that's where you're going to find emergency management underneath Dan Cherry there in Public Works. So with that taken care of, RC, how long have you been in Yavapai County now?
Well, we arrived in Yavapai County on January 2nd, and I started January 4th.
Whew.
So about 4 months now.
Moving, unpacking, and starting a new job, and a big job at that, just before wildfire season. Well, actually, wildfire season didn't ever shut down from last year to this year, so you've had to hit the ground running, I imagine.
Absolutely. Learning every day, learning all the moving parts of Yavapai County. It's a very diverse geography. The demographics are very unique depending on what part of the county you're in. And the terrain in Yavapai County is one that offers some challenges, especially with respect to wildfire season. And in the aftermath of the wildfires, quite often you have to, with the debris flow, contend with flood control issues as well.
Yeah, those are the challenges for you. But that's what we have between now and, I guess, September, really. Between now and September is when our wildfire season, then monsoon season kicks in right after it. Never seems to fail, too, in Arizona, where you get a wildfire that's threatened a community, they're evacuated, and then it's happened a few times here in Yavapai County. And then right on the heels of that fire, just barely getting out, and you get the burn emergency response team in there, the bear team goes in there, and they look at it, and then boom, monsoon hits, and then we've got to worry about that too. Let's look at your background a little bit. How does somebody become an emergency manager? What do you have to go through in life to get to this point?
Well, there's a lot of different pathways to get there to the end point of emergency management. And my career is somewhat unconventional with respect to how one becomes an emergency manager. Traditionally, you'll see someone from the firefighting community, often some from the law enforcement community, sometimes from the military. People will migrate to emergency management as part of a career pathway. My pathway is fairly unique with respect to other emergency managers throughout the state. I moved to Arizona in 1985. Grew up in Southeast Tennessee, and when I moved across country, started looking for careers. I had numerous different jobs that I worked for a few years. And then in 1988, August of 88, I got hired by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office as a detention officer. So I began my career with MCSO, working in the jail facilities. I worked there for a few years, became a canine handler, went to the police academy at Phoenix Regional Police Academy, and became deputy sheriff. As that progressed, I went up the ranks. I became a sergeant, patrol sergeant, worked in various units, was promoted to lieutenant. Went right to the SWAT division and became commander of the canine section. And then shortly thereafter, within a few months, they also added the duties of hostage negotiations commander. So Jeez. I worked for a few years in that role, came out of the other side. And during the time in the SWAT division, one of the things that we were relegated to doing each year annually was the Verdi nuclear exercise evacuation. So I took a proactive role in that, and in, I believe it was in 2003, I was the controller for the graded FEMA exercise. So that experience, coupled with backtracking in 93, I worked the 500-year flood, and I worked in the EOC in Maricopa County for that event, which was a devastating flood. I'm sure everybody throughout the state, if they've been in Arizona for a while, they recall the floods of 93.
Oh, yeah.
I was the liaison for the sheriff's office in the EOC during the duration of that event. I've also been trained in bioweapons, terrorism response, counterterrorism, a lot of different roles within that. In 2004, I was hired by the Fiesta Bowl to be the risk mitigation liaison for federal, state, and local agencies. In addition to that, it was part and parcel of that role. I was also hired and contracted to evaluate the new Fiesta Bowl headquarters, do a site survey and risk analysis, as well as an evacuation plan for them. So I've got a very diverse experience. I retired from Maricopa County in 2006 at the rank of lieutenant. And in the career path, when I selected that career path, I had never intended it retiring that earlier, but I had a health issue. I had a couple of strokes in 2005 that changed my life quite a bit and changed my perspective on things. And they ended up determining that I was probably best suited to take an ordinary disability retirement from public safety pension system. And I looked around and wondered, what am I going to do next? And my wife said, well, you liked being an instructor, because all the way back to 91, I started helping train other officers in canine handling. We had our own academy as a 6-week academy. So we began to build a path of instructional methods and training, and I enjoyed that. She says, why don't you teach? And I'd been adjunct faculty at Phoenix College for a couple of years leading up to this time, where I taught criminal investigations and criminology. So I said, it's a natural pathway. And it just so happens my master's was in educational psychology from Northern Arizona University, by the way. And those credits helped fit into be the non-traditional pathway to be a high school teacher. So I ended up for 12 years teaching in high schools in Arizona, Georgia, and Tennessee, and I also became a head football coach. I was a head football coach in 3 different states. So I go to Tennessee, Georgia. Back in the Tennessee, after I got out of coaching, it was a 90-hour-a-week job when you're a head football coach at a high school and you're also teaching in a classroom. So I was kind of burned out, and I got a job with the Tennessee Department of Correction as an instructor at the Tennessee Correction Academy. So I trained new correctional officer cadets and the probation and parole officer cadets in Tennessee. I did that for 2 years. While I was in that service, they figured out that I'd been involved in some emergency management activities when I was with the sheriff's office. So they put me in the role as a trainer for the TENCOM system, Tennessee Incident Command. And the Tennessee Department of Correction had their own emergency management system that was more or less holistic within the organization. So as I began to look at that, I started training new practitioners in that discipline. All of a sudden, my wife, when we left Arizona in 2014 and moved to Tennessee, we had 4 daughters that were all pretty much grown and they're on their own. And then a couple of years later, we have little grandchildren. And my wife said, anytime we could move back to Arizona. And I didn't necessarily want to move back to Maricopa County. I was always intrigued with Yavapai County. In 1994, I had the opportunity to be the ride deputy for the Desert Caballeros ride that originates in Wickenburg and comes up through Yavapai County and ends and culminates in Prescott. So the ride deputy for Yavapai County was a guy named Roy Armstrong, and the sheriff at the time was Buck Buchanan. So as I came up through the mountains, I started to look around and go, this place is beautiful up in here in Yavapai County. So I kind of fell in love with Yavapai County back in '94. As a rookie, my patrol role was as a rookie deputy. I worked out of the Wickenburg substation. So I would often find myself backing up Yavapai County, Rincon Road, Constellation Road, going to areas that were kind of between Maricopa and Yavapai County, back and forth. I was able to interact a lot with some of the deputies there. And it's always a place that I say, someday I wouldn't mind living up there. I really kind of enjoy it because it's beautiful up there. Really good culture in Yavapai County. Very diverse, has everything you need as far as shopping, amenities. It's a really great place to reside and to work.
All right. We got to take a first break. All right. Yavapai County Emergency Manager R.C. Helton in studio with us today. Yavapai.us/public works is where you go to find emergency management on the county website. Stick around, Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zero Res. Zero Res uses state-of-the-art technology and powered water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
Hi, this is Greg at Verdi Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verdi Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Welcome back to Countywide. Yavapai County Emergency Manager R.C. Helton in studio with us today. He's getting warmed up for our wildfire season. Let's jump into that next. As we can see, we're talking with R.C. the first half of the show here. He's well-rounded in terms of becoming our emergency manager here in Yavapai County. Let me ask you this. Have you had a chance to sit down? Because with COVID and everything going on, it's a little more difficult. I mean, here we are doing a Zoom meeting, which is actually pretty handy these days, to meet with all the different groups that are needed during wildfire season. I'm thinking the Jeep Posse from YCSO, or Yavapai County, I should say, Search and Rescue, Animal Disaster Services, other groups as well. Are we prepared for wildfire season this year?
Well, you know, Paul, that's a question that, are we prepared? We can prepare 24/7, and there's still going to be some variables that we always are trying to get a hold of. But as far as Yavapai County is concerned, and you mentioned the Jeep Posse and Search and Rescue that they do, and ADS and Laser, Large Animal Rescue, and AAA, our emergency. I've never seen as many proactive volunteer organizations in a county with as high a concentration and commitment as I have in Yavapai County. I've been blown away by the commitment, the investment in preparing for resilience throughout the county, especially with respect to wildfire. I've just been amazed by the level of commitment and volunteerism and the coordination and professionalism of these groups. Our CERT group, the Jeep Posse, I had the opportunity to go over there a couple of weeks ago to their meeting, and I was amazed at how many people were at the meeting, how much participation they had, and two, the organization, how well organized they were, what their mission and their vision is going forward, and how they organize their activities and how they line up personnel and deploy those resources. So when you look at organizations like that, in fact, just last weekend, ADS did a drill out here in preparation to practice. I was over at the fairgrounds not the fairgrounds. I take that it's the stables over there by the old racetrack,
Mm-hmm.
the downs. And I did a walkthrough with Laser, looking at how they're getting prepared for the upcoming wildfire season and the process on how they intake the animals, whether it's horses or llamas or goats. They've got a process and they've got organization in play with different roles in their organization. And I was just highly encouraged from what I've seen in Yavapai County in preparation, because it is a big deal. When you're dealing with lives, life safety is our number one priority. And that life safety, behind that is we've got to make sure that we are resilient and we can maintain property values, commercial interests. All those things come into play when you're looking at an overall strategic plan of how are we going to prepare for wildfire season? How are we going to meet these challenges? What type of funding mechanisms do we have to have in place? And there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of stakeholders, non-governmental organizations, Red Cross. We have so many safety nets that are developed around what we do in the activities, the daily activities that we do, that all contribute toward a successful, resilient season.
You know, you're not the first person to say that either. We do have great people in Yavapai County and the volunteers that come together. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I've had all of those groups in here on the county-wide show, and I'm amazed by all of them because they are very professional and they're very serious about what they're doing. And I think that's amazing. It's really great. Let's take our next break a little bit early, okay? We do want to encourage people to sign up for Code Red so you get those notifications by email on your phone or however you want. You can choose through the Code Red if you go through the ycsoaz.gov website, the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office website. So sign up for Code Red. That way you get those notifications in case there's going to be an evacuation taking place. We're talking with Yavapai County Emergency Manager R.C. Helton today. Their website is yavapai.us/public works, and you'll find emergency management right there. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zero Res. Zero Res uses state-of-the-art technology and powered water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
Hi, this is Greg at Verdi Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verdi Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got a few minutes left of the program. We've found out who R.C. Helton is. He's our emergency manager, his background and the qualifications to be our emergency manager in Yavapai County. We just talked a little bit about how the different groups that help emergency management are deployed during emergencies. They're prepared and they've been meeting. What can we do other than sign up for Code Red and having the ready, set, go items taken care of ahead of time, maybe also practice our emergency evacuation plan. If we are going to have to evacuate, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? Where are we going to meet up? All that stuff should be practiced each year, at least a couple of times, I would imagine. What do we need to do to be prepared for wildfire season?
Well, Paul, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a discussion that every family should have. Where are we going to meet in case of disaster? Let's say that mom or dad are out shopping and a fire occurs and there's evacuation. There should be a preconceived plan of where they're going to meet, where they're going to rendezvous, because anytime there's an evacuation, and the sheriff's office is the one that drives the evacuation process, they need to have a plan in place. One, every day you go home, when you leave work or you leave school and you get ready to come back home, make sure that you got a full tank of gas. A lot of times people don't even think about that. Don't let your gas tank get below half a tank. I personally, rarely ever will you find me less than half a tank of gas in my vehicles.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have flashlights and you have spare batteries. Make sure that you have water in your vehicles. Whether it's 1 or 2 gallons of water, you should have a gallon of water per person per day for at least a 72-hour phase. That's what FEMA recommends, that you be prepared to be self-sustaining for 72 hours. Look at your personal documents, your critical documents, your marriage license, your birth certificates. Those things should already be prepackaged and staged prior to exiting your home. You should have a plan to have those things ready to go, whether it's in a little duffel bag, a backpack, something with a little bit of energy, some calories, energy bars in your backpack. Make sure that you've got multi-tools that you have in your backpack. You should be prepared to go, what is it that I would need to survive? Put an old toothbrush or toothpaste in a backpack. There's a lot of different things that you can look at. You can go to FEMA's website and find out for preparedness, and also the Red Cross has a very good preparedness checklist that you can download and check off to make sure that you've got those items prepared so that your family's ready at a moment's notice if you have to evacuate and get out.
And then where are you going to go? Where are you going to meet? And all that. That comes right down to even practicing the home fire plan. If your house catches on fire, where does everybody meet when they go outside? It's as simple as that, but this is a little more expansive than that. And yeah, like you said, if I'm out about doing something, the kids are at home and the evacuation comes for the house, where are they supposed to go? Because I'm not there right now to grab them and take them away. So they better be able to go someplace right away.
Oh, most definitely.
So work all that out ahead of time.
There's some things you can do to ensure that you insulate your home from that risk. Yavapai Firewise is a very, very important resource. Firewise.org, YavapaiFirewise.org. You go find that, and they talk about how to build a fire-safe property so that you can make sure that you've got a relief area from your home and any fuels that may be available for burning, whether it's pine cones, needles, things of that nature, any debris on the ground, any brush, any old wood. You need to make sure that there's a buffer. So there's instructions on how to do that on firewise.org. Very good resource that helps you build resilience and helps better prepare for that potential disaster.
Yeah, that defensible space we talk about so much. We've been talking about it in the last couple of months. The Yavapai County and the Public Works Department have put up a lot of free dump days right now at the different sites. If you go to their website, again, yavapai.us, you should be able to find out where there's free drop-offs going on right now. And the whole idea is to create that defensible space, get that stuff cleaned up out of your yard and get rid of it. Out of the rain gutters, out from under the porch, tree limbs not touching your house, rain gutters cleared, all those type of things. You want to be careful. So I think we're out of time, RC. It was great to meet you. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again some more because here we are, wildfire season followed by monsoon season. So we've got those two things going. So that's Yavapai County Emergency Manager R.C. Helton. Again, the website, yavapai.us. If you go to Public Works there, that's where you'll find emergency management. As always, we thank you for watching and listening, and we will talk to you again next time.
Thank you.